Vodafone presents the pre-match.
To ESL One Hamburg 2018, it is indeed the start of our pre-match for our final series of the day. We're a little way away though, players are still getting themselves ready, settled, nerves jangling, I'm sure, backstage as they await to come out into the arena. However, plenty of information to give you before that, and also some intriguing information as well from me. Now, I often wonder what on earth goes on backstage. There's wires and people with network cables running around, and I have no idea what's going on. However, ESL have put together something that hopefully will help me and you understand just what goes into putting on a network like this.
My team is there to keep the internet running and make sure the other people are able to work and the players are able to play the game. So I would say the job is pretty important. 50% of the work is done before the event. It starts with the scouting. There's a lot of meetings, discussions, plannings, designing, building the network infrastructure. During the setup phase at the arena, our responsibilities are to get the internet up and running as quickly as possible. We need to precisely plan who does what, who is responsible for which areas. Please run 2 cables from the server room underneath the tribune. We need connectivity for the game, for the streaming department, for the partners, for the back offices to be able to work. We had to upgrade from 1 gigabit connections to 10 gig a long time ago. Then to keep the redundancy, we doubled it. In case one of our lines goes down, we have a quick failover. We have kilometers of these high-speed fiber cables. Hey Dennis, when you're done here, can you please check the fibers and clean them? We deploy up to 80 switches, 20 to 30 access points. Everything needs to be connected. Hey Jonathan, everything good here? Yeah. Everything working, connected?
Absolutely.
Perfect. So we're ready for the show?
We are.
Okay, cool. If you have anything, let me know. A big part of it is also the security aspect. We have to make sure there's no way of interruption or unfair advantages for the players. We prepare the master image, and once it's approved, we clone it for every player, a fully restricted and fully optimized SSD. It offers the maximum security and only gets handed out to the player for his tournament play. The third phase of my job is the network monitoring. We always have to adapt, work under pressure, and quickly identify and troubleshoot any issues. For the viewers, I would wish that they have a completely uninterrupted show. This is what me and my team put a lot of work in, a lot of effort. We have redundancy everywhere. So the perfect tournament, in my opinion, is if as soon as the tournament starts, I have nothing to do. I just sit on my chair.
Okay, well that's good to know, because now I know where to go when my Wi-Fi stops working, because he's not doing anything anyway. The incredible people that work backstage, they should all get a pat on the back as well. They do work very long hours and put in some incredible work that we very rarely get to see, so thank you very much for that. All right, time to move on. Let's introduce you to our panel, who are back out for our third and final series of the day. Gents, welcome back to the panel. We've got Trent, Blitz and Fog. Fog, we'll start with you. It's EG versus Secret. Now, we were looking back on all the different matches. I remember Kyle said beforehand, it's like the El Clasico. I don't know if I necessarily agree, because I feel like Virtus Pro Liquid might be the El Clasico, but sure. Nevertheless, it's a big game between 2 storied teams who've been fighting it out for the last 3 or 4 years now, and they have a ton of games behind them.
They do, and they share a lot of players.
They do.
With history as well. They've been rotating around between Secret, EG,
hold
Secret,
on,
right?
Hold on. What's on your suit? Have you actually had to have like a badge made to tell you what job role you're doing?
Everybody had these cool pins. I wanted.
I see.
I'll take it.
The pins. You felt left out, buddy. That's bad.
I did. But
Maybe one of the fans has got something for you.
They might.
Maybe.
We'll see.
All right. Okay. Sorry, you were saying anyway. Storied players.
Yeah, lots of story players, and I mean this one. I thought I was the most excited for the first day, first game of the day, but. I mean, this is going to be really hype.
Yeah, it's magical, isn't it? We were looking back through, Trent, at some of the records, and EG don't have necessarily the best record against Team Secret over the last couple of years. They've only won 1 series since Epicenter 2017.
Wow, okay.
And that was at TI8.
It's a little surprising.
1 best-of-3 series, I should say. I mean, it is a bit surprising, isn't it? Because they've both been very, high-quality teams.
I feel like they would have played quite a few matches against each other. I mean, is this like really lopsided here? How many games are we talking about?
It's 59 games in history. It's 35-24.
I think they were like 1 in 58 for a second there. I was going to say, I hope that's not true.
No, definitely better than 1 in 58. It's currently 35-24 right now between Secret and Evil
Got
Geniuses.
some catching up to do, I suppose.
They do have some catching up, and this is the lineup that's going to do it. It's a 5-man team, but it's effectively a 4-man team because they're missing some out, and it has shown. I don't want to be disparaging to CCNC. I think he's a fantastic player, and he's shown some really good TA action, in particular in the group stages, but they are missing him.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter who the stand-in would be. You're just not going to play at optimal level with the stand-in. I think CCNC's done pretty admirably with what he's given. It's a really awkward situation for him to come into where he doesn't really understand how they want to play. And at the same time, I think EG isn't going to tell him everything about their play because he still plays for another team. He still plays for PainX. So at some point, you're just helping out your competition as well. And so you're kind of riding this like weird fine line where you want to do good at this tournament, of course, but at the same time, every little bit that you reveal to him is something that you don't want to be public.
Is 6th about right for EG with the standing?
From the way they displayed this morning, I don't think so. I think they're probably going to get a little bit higher than that. And I think that their drafting also has been pretty clever. The first game of today was a bit different, right? We haven't seen Underlord in ages, and then the second game they just absolutely steamrolled. So I think that after their showing in the morning, they're probably feeling a little bit hyped up. They're probably feeling pretty good, especially because Secret's drafting is a little unorthodox.
Yeah, sure. Is that also dangerous, Trent, though? The fact that they did have such a straightforward win this morning, fastest one we've had at ESL One Hamburg?
I think, at least in most players I talk about like being warmed up. I don't think many people enjoy just sitting around all day and then having to play like the last game. On the other side, though, if there's one thing they hate, it's first game of the day and then having to wait the whole time and then play. They kind of like that whole momentum aspect. So in some ways, they did lose some of that momentum. But on the other hand, that was a very quick series in the middle of the day. So maybe they're still kind of feeling it, you know?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, definitely been here a long time. Let's move on and talk about Secret's lineup. Where do you start with this team? Because in theory, it's an upgrade on what they had before. Everyone agrees that all the different compartments that they've now got gives them a very rounded team, and they all seem to be working together very quickly as well. And they've already had a decent result on LAN. Surely that all of that's adding up to thinking these guys could be the favourites for the first third of this tournament, first third of this season.
Like any iteration, I think of Team Secret, it all starts with Puppy. You just kind of build from there. I think as each iteration changes, it probably augments a little bit how they're going to play too. Especially between, like, I feel like mid one's already starting to shift a little bit more to playing more of these active heroes. It seems like Nisha's more comfortable on some of these harder carries, which seems to be working out okay for them. So I enjoy that. I feel like Ace had a different set of skills where he provided this like very unique couple of heroes that allowed quite a few swaps, but they were often kind of active heroes who wanted to be engaged early on in the match. But mid one, near the end of the first tenure of Secret, at least the previous iteration, started showing a lot of promise on like Bloodseekers and Monkey Kings and being very active across the map as Kunkka too. So I really enjoy this new version of Secret. I like seeing mid one actually like very involved in the kills early.
I'm going to get some more from all three of you in just a moment. I feel like we should nickname him Side One instead of Mid One these days. Let's head upstairs and find out what our boys have got in store for us and which plans they picked out for the Vodafone View.
Hey, Red Eye. How's it going, buddy? Vodafone View time. It's time for us to pick 2 more players and discuss them in depth. What heroes you should keep your eyes on? Owen?
Well, with the matchup that we have chosen, as I believe you'll be able to see soon on the screen, we've got S4 and Zai.
S4 and Zai, 2 of the most dependable guys in Dota 2. They have gone through so much together, still such high-tier players, and both Swedish.
Absolutely, and a lot of fun things, as you mentioned, to look out for from these 2 players. They're bringing in a bit of fun to sort of the offlane role. We're seeing some Magnus coming through from both of them, in fact. We're seeing sort of Zai branch out into these Pangoliers that he likes to whip out and bounce around with. Enigma as well, very likely from both of these two players in this matchup. So it's whatever that you're going to see, it's going to be fun. I'm going to be closely watching Zai though. We've seen a lot of games where Zai can get sacked by his team and sort of has this very struggling start. We've seen games where that's happened where he has managed to make a comeback. One of them recently, the game where he was on the Zeus, had a super tough time in the lane, ended up sort of being below the support network for the majority of the first 15 minutes, but then he's able to come back in and still have an impact. So I feel that Zai is really sort of fitting back into this role with this roster. It's going to be a clash between these 2 Swedes. We're going to say at least see one of them play an Enigma or a Magnus, a Zeus or a Pangolier, and have them bouncing around and doing a lot of crazy stuff. And probably more so on the Secret side of things, as who knows what Puppy's going to get Zai to play this game.
I like S4, because he's a nice lad. Thanks, everybody. That's my pick. I'm going to go with S4. I'm going to guess you're going to go with Zai, and we'll shoot it back to the panel. Those are our picks for the Vodafone players.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much. sure whether to be worried about Sir Actions like sometimes. Thank you very much, gents. That's their Vodafone view on that. I wonder what our view is here on the desk. Folk, you picked out two very good players. They used to play together, obviously, both of them together on Secret in the very early iteration of it. How do they match up for you?
I think it's weird because I think it's changed a little bit, especially at this tournament. Because I did see, like we were watching them at PvP in Singapore, and I did see Zai getting a bit more farm. But now it's kind of rotated where they're picking some stranger heroes, and they're having some more priorities of farm on. They always have a lot of farm on Yapsar, but Puppy's playing heroes that he also needs some farm. So Zai's actually getting relegated to being like this 3.5 kind of 4 position, where I think S4 is actually taking up a lot more space on the map in that net worth department.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a couple of games we looked at together the other day with the gold. It looked like he was an off-laner 4.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, well, that's new, but okay, seems to be working. I guess it goes ahead. S4 is often said, Will, as being one of those galvanizing players. He goes to a team and everyone kind of, it works for them because of the way that he is such a good player. He's an enabler in the game, but he's also good at what he does. How much of an impact has he had on this EG team in the first 3 months?
Oh, I think he's had a ton. You hear all of his ex-teammates talk about what kind of a teammate he is. He sticks it out through thick and thin. I mean, he was on that Alliance team for way longer than its expiration date, just trying to make things work. And that speaks a lot about this guy's character, because I think when the going gets tough, he's not the kind of guy to shy away. He's going to try to figure out solutions. He's very easy to work with. Yeah. It's very easy to find out when you talk to him alone. He's very forthcoming. His thoughts about Dota, he's like a bit of a quiet, mild-mannered guy. And I think it's important because that team does have a good amount of egos. You've got Artur, you've got Bulba, who I think is one of the bigger ones in the Dota scene. That you need somebody like that is just going to be calm and easygoing, and I think he fits their team perfectly.
All right, good stuff. I'm hearing that the plans are ready. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome them. Make a bit of noise here at ESL One Hamburg as we welcome our 2 teams for the final series of the day.
All right, Hamburg. Oh, you know what's up. You know it's about to get hype. Let's hear it. We got a treat for all of you to end day 1. EG versus Team Secret. Are you guys excited? Let's show how loud we can get a little bit later, but for now, let's meet these 2 teams, starting off with Evil Geniuses. To the stage, Evil Geniuses. Here we go. They will be going up against Team Secret. Show some love for Team Secret. Man, this is a hype match all set. So hype, this guy just took his shirt off. This dude just like took it literally. He's just like, you know what? That's hype. I hope it's not too cold, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, Evil Geniuses versus Team Secret. Let's go.
Yes, thank you very much, Jerry. Teams ready to rock and roll. They are going to get themselves set on their chairs and head into the draft for the first game. And we're going to talk about that right now, head towards that draft. Gents, I kind of like it when Secret play purely for the draft point of view, if nothing else, because you know that you're going to get some fireworks in there.
For sure, and I think a big thing that we're going to be seeing is a lot of team fighting, right, coming out. Because I think Puppey and EG have both been like drafting quite a lot of them. I think Rubik is one of those heroes that's just going to be standing out for me. Because we saw the Shaker performance from Crit earlier. Both these two teams absolutely love the hero, but Rubik's one of those where you can kind of pseudo-play that hero as well in a lot of different situations.
Yeah, well, how legit is the new LC 5, the Brew 5? How legit are these?
I think they're actually quite good. And it's kind of stunning to me because I thought some way, somehow, someone must find some way to like deal with this, but no one really has. I feel like this weird era of strength, melee, 5-position heroes is actually kind of okay. It seems to work for everyone, and whoever's not doing it seems to be losing, so I guess it is the thing.
Yeah.
It's nice to have one that scales a little bit, I suppose, which they certainly tend to scale somewhat better than more of the like position 5 range hero counterparts in a lot of these games, especially the Brew. I feel like the Legion, I'm still a little, I don't know about that one. I feel like the Legion didn't have the biggest impact in a lot of the game, but except for when Puppey played it.
Yeah.
I mean, he had like 70 dual damage very early on in the game, but the Brewmaster, like, you just get 6, and we all know the hero can do so much without any items. Like, he has itemization problems in the first place, so just put him in a role where he doesn't get items anyway.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Doesn't always work. In terms of key heroes, Will, where are we looking here? I mean, I think the obvious meta ones are, we've talked about Morph, we've talked about Enigma and what have you, but is there a key style that one of these two teams wants to adopt and therefore a hero that they really want to get their hands on?
I think that for Secret, they play a little bit greedier than EG is, which is odd considering the rosters that they have. I think heroes like Rubik are going to be hotly contested. From what we saw in the Cole series at least, it seems like the way that EG is adjusting to the fact that they have a stand-in is just to go for an aggro tri-lane, which is what they did in both games. And that's the easiest way to win in Dota, in all honesty. If you're not really sure how to win, you just default to aggro tri-laning, because that way, if you're slightly more experienced and you have the better core players, like S4 is a very talented one-on-one player. There's not a lot of people that are going to beat him. Then you put yourself into a position where you win 3 lanes, and then what execution do you really need in teamfights? The game is very straightforward when you win 3 lanes.
Okay, 1-1 in the group stages, so we have some history there, Trent, very recent history, of course, 3 days ago. I think Kyle keeps mentioning the fact that they're very good in the first game, not so good in the second game. They ended up going 5-5 in the group, winning the one, losing the other one. Is that going to play any part in this game, in this series against Secret?
I think main stage is a little different than group stage. Momentum always plays a big part. I would say probably more heavily on the stage itself, so I feel like that first win probably carries a little bit more weight, but a lot of it is not just like the order you win the game. I feel like it's always like how you win that game. You know, if it's a big stomp or something in the first game, then it's really demoralizing. And then sometimes you lose this like 60-minute, 70-minute game. It almost always feels like the next game is super short because teams just get a little bit exhausted and maybe don't have quite enough time to prep for the next one before you just throw them back into it, not mentally ready.
Is there a danger of overconfidence here, Fold, with the fact that they did dumpster complexity earlier so easily in a 15-minute game?
I mean, maybe a tiny bit, but at the same time, you always have to humble yourself when you're playing versus Puppey, because I'm sure Boba's sitting there and he's looking at their recent draft page and he's like, what? What's going on here? He's probably got some idea of what's going on, but Puppey probably has something completely different planned out for this, especially with him being able to at least watch what EG did earlier. That's the big benefit that Secret has from not playing earlier.
Yeah, and the draft battle, gents, is going to be Bulba versus Secret in this.
It's just Bulba. Excellent. That's it.
Oh, whoa. Secret took out Rubik first.
Interesting. We talked about how good Yamsor is with that Rubik, and it's also been their counter for the Enigma as well, so yeah, very interesting ban from Secret.
So is that like a battle for the Shaker then? Whoever's first pick wants to get it?
Yeah, that's got to be inverted. Okay, yeah, we are switched. Thank you, production.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was like,
we're all thinking it. It's like
that would be really weird, wouldn't it? Our 4's best hero, let's ban him first.
Yeah.
I mean, it's much more likely that Evil Geniuses would do that, and that's exactly what's happened.
Yeah, Crit does play a phenomenal Rubik
as
well, but
absolutely.
I think with the way that EG drafted earlier in particular, when I was looking at, I see like Enigma, Shaker, Wyvern, Lina, Luna. I see a lot of really good spells to steal, and you have Yamsor on their team. So.
Yeah, we haven't spoken about Crit yet, but we did mention it earlier on. His Earthshaker right now, 9 out of 9 in the last 8 months. They just don't lose when he plays the Earthshaker.
He just keeps playing these like position 4 melee initiators that he loves, right? Earthshaker, Earth Spirit, that's kind of hero that I think you want for him in these games. So definitely eyeing those up as we move into the first phase.
It's like Do they? It's like the secret ban the Morphling or the Shaker, and does EG ban the Morphling is probably the things that I'm thinking about here. Because secret, whenever they get the Morphling, they just seem to have such control of the game.
I know he wanted to chill some more, but my goodness, he is full on chill mode.
He just sits back, right? Bulba's got control of this, and then Bulba's gonna be like, hey, what do you want to play?
Nice song, Zato.
Let's go.
IO Tiny, obviously banned.
Okay.
We also we saw that in the last series, very effective. Has been a very dangerous hero. It's been in and out of the picks and bans throughout the whole of the last 4 days.
It makes sense as a carry man just because there's the potential, if EG decide to go for the aggro again, it is a really good hero at aggroing.
This is tough. I don't know if I want to take care of the Phoenix, the Wyvern, or if you're thinking about a draft strat, you might want to take care of the Wyvern. That could be possible. You might want to take care of that Brewmaster because of how much it masks during the drafting phase, which I think is actually very annoying.
Morphling. What about Shaker too?
Yeah, the Nisha Morph, the Shaker, the Phoenix.
I think you can't think that hard about stuff like this because when you think like that, I think you get overwhelmed and you're already at a draft disadvantage.
Okay, they go with the Morph.
Like you have to give. The thing about Dota is that you have to give up something.
For sure.
So it's
you
the
have
least
to be
of,
comfortable.
least of what you want to give away, and it was one of the things we were talking about in that first phase, is the Enigma. It's a first pick this time for Secret.
You could do something like Axe Phoenix.
Shaker Wyvern too, right?
Yeah.
But then they've got the BKB piercing for the black hole just in case.
It's interesting that they've kind of forced EG to take that Rubik away, and then they picked the Enigma themselves.
I really like Wyvern for EG.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
It's hard to argue against that for sure. I mean, it works versus Colt.
Yep.
It's just the
Very
answer.
effective.
It's also just because like the Drow is still on the table too, which can always be that can always like just set you up to be able to deal with the hero too.
And also lets you play like this position 4 Enigma. Plenty of teams that kind of use that too with like the Drow aura. You can go very greedy with it.
You could do like Wyvern Axe too.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. It's,
Oh,
it's
they
the
do take
Wyvern
Wyvern
Shaker.
Yep.
So they're just like, you know what, it worked this morning.
Yeah.
So go back for it.
I mean,
Nice call.
they played phenomenal with it earlier. That's when I was seeing them playing with it versus, in particular, versus that Enigma. It just seemed like Snaking couldn't really do anything because you can actually do super well as Wyvern in the lane as well versus Enigma because you actually have a tool to be able to clear those Eidolons or at least let your carry player catch up to them because the slow application.
So they take the Phoenix themselves, a hero that almost everyone takes at some point during the first phase.
If they take the Cold Bird, you take the Fire Bird.
It is a
Just
little
don't pick
bit
them
of
together.
disruption. Yeah, don't go that far. But maybe it makes it more difficult for the Earthshaker to find that perfect counter initiation or the Wyvern itself. It's not something that once it begins, it can't be targeted. Like you think about most initiations and most beginnings to a fight, and there's some sort of an answer. There's like, okay, the Dunk's gonna come in now, or the Winner's Curse is gonna come in. But that egg, unless you have like this very specific Mirana or Terrorblade or something, it usually takes a couple heroes to commit to. It's not so simple. It's very good if they get the curse off first too.
I had a message earlier, this is not a serious part of the draft, but I had a message earlier and I thought I'd share this with you. Why do teams keep picking the hot bird and the cold bird when they could have one bird with both in it?
Who?
Oh, no,
Jakiro.
nice try. Because we saw Jakiro during the group stages,
We
and
did see
I think
Jakiro.
Mushi had 20 deaths in that game.
Yes, don't, it's all right, there's no need to rub it in. If you're listening, Mr. Frog, Jakiro buff. Just so.
So Lina taken out. I mean, they've got the Phoenix. It's usually one of the more likely ones. And of course, EG takes out the Axe. It's another one that just works so well with Phoenix. And
Yeah, they used it with the Enigma themselves earlier too.
Yep.
Just that bully lane.
And EG doesn't want to get like this situation where their lanes aren't great because like Wyvern and Shaker, sometimes they can just get left in the dust in the lane phase. In particular, the Shaker, if he doesn't have the ability to just roam from lane to lane.
Necro's still open in the pool too.
Yeah. I feel like he's gotten left a lot, right? He hasn't been picked at all today.
I think he got banned.
He did get banned earlier.
Yes,
Okay.
it was banned in full game as well.
In the EG Pole series, it wasn't touched whatsoever.
No, it was banned.
It was banned.
Game
Was it?
1. Game
Oh,
2,
I'm
it
blind.
was untouched though.
I'm blind.
That
Yeah,
is
you're
true. But I mean, that is a hero that could actually kind of handle some of these more annoying strength supports too. But I mean, then you're committing a scythe to this hero, so.
Also, don't have a drow ban yet.
That is very true. Secret does have a potential setup for it. But they are versus a Wyvern.
And even like Shaker too, like once you get that Blink Dagger and you're like clumping up, it's kind of. I think EG look more prepped for the draw themselves, honestly. Like, I don't think I'd want to pick it as Team Secret, but depending on how EG see the rest of this game going, like, more ranged heroes up against the egg is never really a bad thing. Trying to, like, keep yourself spaced away from the black hole, and they'll take it.
Good call.
And they ban the Brood, too.
So if you're Secret, you want gap closers, but the one that would be popular in this pool right now would be like PL or something, but you have so many different ways to deal with it.
I mean, the Spectre's also still in, though. And,
Yeah.
like, you have this, you're up against the Shaker. We talked about how that's such a good hero, like, during this, like, Shaker and Wyvern trying to get in these fights with the Haunt and stuff.
But if you think you're going to get aggroed and you already have an Enigma on your team and a Phoenix, it feels real greedy.
Very much.
So you wouldn't really have any playmakers, and your laning phase seems like it'd be pretty rough. I do think it's a good hero for the context of this game, but I think they also have to be prepared for just getting straight aggro tri-lane.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that teams get caught in during the draft too, because you see this like hero on hero counter, and sometimes the end of a draft ends, and even on the panel we're like, oh my god, this game's so over. Like, this hero's so countered, but sometimes things happen in the first couple minutes of the game that completely change that normal narrative of how a match goes.
They banned out Marlena. I was going to suggest the TA for EG would be good, but would it be working good for Secret?
I think DK is probably the most likely for EG, honestly, just because like the way CCNC plays, relatively tanky frontliner, benefits from the Drow aura still.
A lot of percent damage on Secret though already, right? Phoenix as well as the Enigma can hurt those strength heroes quite a bit.
You have last pick on EG, so there's no need to. You have last pick plus save and draw.
Yep.
Oh, I was thinking about all these tanky beef heroes that Secret would want to pick, and I just forgot about Ogre the whole time.
I think they've almost relegated Ogre to be worse than some of those heroes. I feel like in the way that they were picking them, it seemed like they were getting a lot of what Ogre does out of some of these other ones. And then when you're playing with an Enigma, it feels like he's drawing the lane back anyway, so it can be difficult to actually get the pressure in from the hero.
There's another hero that's managed to squeak through this draft. We've seen a lot of bans on Mirana.
Especially when you have Phoenix on your team.
Yep.
I like that pick quite a lot there for EG.
Yeah.
It also leaves them open, right? We don't know if that's the mid. It could be the mid. It could also be in the position for S4. Definitely a variety on the side of EG.
And if you're Secret, you have to reveal your other two cores right now.
Yeah. And so this lets them basically say, like, they probably still will ban the DK, I would guess, for Team Secret, but then EG just have this, like, full, totally free, like, okay, it's either Mirana versus whatever you pick, or we get a whole new hero, and we'll just throw Mirana on the offlane.
I was kind of okay with your Spectre suggestion. Ogre helps your laning phase at least a bit. You could also take something like Bloodseeker and just run at them.
That is a Secret favorite. That is for sure.
That's true.
You just get a Blade Mail early on.
But if your lane goes poorly on that hero, it's like GG.
Yeah.
He feels so much weaker than he used to be.
And they had a really bad laning phase in the game that they played against, I think it was Vici, and they did manage to recover with the Zeus.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was like, yep.
I'm always down for Zeus's against Drow Shreds too.
I think if you're Secret, last ban in particular, you have to get rid of this Huskar just in case.
That's true. You know, finally starts showing up late.
Yeah.
I guess it is the playoff stage, really, where he made his most appearances.
I mean, it's reverse CCNC as well, right? And they do go the Bloodseeker, recall.
So it's a hero that they like. I think it makes a lot of sense against the Mirana. It's a BKB carrier that has a good amount of armor, has the armor talent too, so you can just get into the thick of things. And when the Drow gets gone on whatsoever, it's hard for him to survive even with things like Hurricane Pike, because that item also hurts you just as much as it helps.
I think with Ogre as well, it helps a lot, right? Because sometimes Bloodseeker you see in the lane, if he just gets poked by these ranged heroes, it can be pretty annoying. But if you have an Ogre just guarding you, taking all that brunt of the force.
Yeah. And there's not that many great lane matchups versus it either. Like, the Lena's already banned out. So
I think if they
do mid, but it could just be side lane.
Yeah. I think if they didn't have the Ogre, I wouldn't have been as big of a fan of it. I think this leads a little. If I'm EG here, I would probably last pick Storm. It's great against all the heroes on the side of Secret. It's fantastic against Bloodseeker just because the zip doesn't get touched by the Rupture at all.
Are you a little afraid of them like last picking a TA?
I think with Drow Aura, it's okay. Because the context of the game, I think you'll still be fine.
Okay.
And you have ways to deal with her. And you can just set the Earthshaker mid too if you're worried about it at all. It's not the worst matchup in the world. It's not fantastic, but
I'm thinking like for mid one, some Invoker or TA right now, but because the thing is the Cold Embrace is there, so that's where the TA kind of gets pushed away. But
I'm sort of down for like the Zeus Bloodseeker thing that they did earlier.
That is like a great point.
Is there any mid hero that really enables a Bloodseeker too? Like, in terms of spam? I'm trying to think of that, like making him even run over his lane even harder.
They could do
Zeus
something.
isn't that bad, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, they could do something like Monkey, which is what they've done before, but there's enough space creators on the side of EG. I would like to see the Zeus.
It's, again, another difficult hero for an Earthshaker to play against, which is nice too, just kind of add a benefit.
And if I see Zeus on the side of EG, I guess the scary part about picking Zeus here, if you're Secret, is that there's so many different ways to counter it. If you were last pick, you'd feel a lot more comfortable. So they do, in fact, ban out the Storm, which I think was EG's pick almost 100%.
Yeah.
And now it feels a little bit better to take that hero. But you do leave yourself open to getting Huskard and stuff like that. That's why this is the disadvantage of having to pick before anybody sees their mid hero. So they take Arc Warden.
Okay. All right. Team Secret special.
Great versus Drow. Great versus like just the bubble in general versus those 2 damage heroes that EG's showing right now.
Does this make you tempted to take any sort of like a melee hero? Do you still stick to your ranged game? Do you need someone who can actually close? I mean, Mirana is one of those few ranged heroes that can actually close in a lot of those scenarios, but this Arc Warden's so irritating to play against.
Not much reserve time.
It's also Pugna still with the Shaker. Take the TA.
They go
Still
TA
just
anyway.
take the TA anyway.
And TA draw is insane.
Yeah, it is.
And that is a fast play too. Like talking about like this Arc Warden coming online like later on. Maybe they can just like kind of run the game over before he's really ready to go.
How's that lane go? I don't really know that one that well. I'm not a great Arc Warden expert.
I'd imagine with
Is there such a thing?
Because the
The
thing
Drow
about
aura probably makes a big difference,
what
right?
you want against Arc Warden is to have more creeps in your lane than he does. I'd imagine with Drora and Sideblades, you just continuously push the wave in.
Yeah, she doesn't play the lane anyway, right? I guess. Like, if you can't like harass the TA, she just does her thing and then goes and does her jungle
Plus,
stuff.
you can just refract, tank the ghosts.
Yeah. The Flux though, right? Flux can be pretty annoying if there's rotations.
Yeah, that's why you need to just push in the wave at all times.
That's true. Okay.
All right, good stuff. Thank you very much, gents. Time then to get into our first game of the final series of the day. 2 fantastic drafts from 2 fantastic teams, commentated by 2 fantastic commentators. Here we go for game number 1.
Evil Geniuses versus Team Secret, 2 of the most storied teams in the Dota 2 scene. They're matched up against each other in an elimination. Kyle, how do you feel about that?
Really good. I'm hyped.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You were talking about before our series started, you were saying, you know, I don't know what it is, but whenever I go to cast, it always turns out to be excellent games, and I wouldn't be surprised at all. Evil Geniuses versus Secret, I think this matchup, the only possible thing that people could look to that would make this a little less hype is the fact that EG does have a stand-in, but I think CCNC has actually filled in great for
Yeah,
Evil
I agree.
Geniuses.
I think it's also really cool. You can see the difference, like CCNC and Excalibur, pretty similar if people would probably rank them in terms of individual skill, but CCNC has so much experience, and he's such a methodical player. He's been a professional now for almost 2 years. He's not going to win every lane like Sumail does, but he's still going to perform really well, and I think he's going to go ham on TA in this game.
Yeah, so you think it's going to be a really good Templar Assassin game? I mean, it's already buffed up by having a Drow Ranger aura.
Yeah, it's a dangerous spot for Secret to be in because while Arc Warden is a great counter pick against a Drow lineup, you're going to have difficulties because of the tempo that the 4 heroes of EG can play with, backed up by the Fly Winter Wyvern. But all 3 cores are incredibly strong, will probably win their lanes, and then it gives Crit's Shaker just a free game. And like Paul was saying earlier, he hasn't lost a game on the hero in nearly 9 months.
So speaking of that tempo, the last time we talked about Arc Warden on Desk together, we were saying we should see the Arc Warden Necronomicon build. Now, this is a very different game. Do you think that this is still a right-click build for the Arc Warden, or do you think he should go for that more aggressive pushing build?
You definitely go for the right click, but Nisha's been trying to get away with this like Midas Maelstrom style. I don't think you can do that in a game like this. TA Mirana with the Drow Aura, like that's so much tempo. I think you've got to be ready to fight and get involved much earlier than that. So I would agree that he needs to go for this more early mid-game style and then scale up later.
So are you saying he should go Necronomicon?
Yes, yes, I
So
agree.
you think that's actually preferred?
Yeah.
Okay.
It depends. Like, that's a build I've really only seen Thompson play well, and that guy's a TI winner. So.
I feel like there's a lot of mystery behind that build, and when you can actually utilize it, and when it would just leave your primary carry looking like it doesn't output any damage.
Yeah, the big thing is going to be this mid matchup, though, because TA versus Bloodseeker can snowball real hard in either direction, but it's definitely TA favorite.
He's not careful. Sure enough, he's going to be blocked in. I don't think he expected Crit to be there as well, but it's a tanky Ogre. That's exactly why people picked this hero at the start of the draft.
Yep.
I think the other thing to talk about is our mid matchup. Now they were talking about the Arc Warden. It's going to be mid one's Bloodseeker mid against the Templar Assassin. With the Dro Aura, how do you think this matchup goes?
TA definitely should win it, but Bloodseeker, if you catch the TA napping Refraction down and there's heroes low on other lanes, you kill him once and all of a sudden it's a completely different story. And Phoenix is one of the better heroes to rotate over, especially when Bloodseeker hits level 6. That's
so it's going to be one of those
afraid.
like heavy skill matchups,
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Like the TA versus Ember Spirit that we used to see all the time, where it can go either way just based off of individual play.
Yeah, I think CCNC made a slight error just by not starting out with a stick. Like, you either start with it or you immediately bring one out. He's missing out on already like a free refraction. Like, you're going to spam Q on the Bloodseeker. You got to have the stick.
Right. Nisha going to be pushed away by the Dro Ranger aggro tri-lane. Evil Geniuses doing this once again. Seems to be like kind of their mode right now. Just always going aggro tri-lane, setting up the RTZ for a lot of success, being protected by 2 supports, but also giving S4 a favorable 1v1.
Yep. It's just hard. It's an Ogre in the lane. And Wyvern Shaker, yeah, they're good at connecting and rotating, but they're not the greatest at just dealing with this Ogre. RTZ's in some trouble.
Fly is going to make sure he is right on top of that Ghost, so he'll tank up the damage instead of going to RTZ the Spark Ray.
Yeah. But what's super cool is that down bottom, Zai and the Enigma zoned really hard the first couple of waves and prevented Mirana from touching creeps for a little bit. And now the Enigma just moves to the jungle and suddenly Zai is playing off lane all by himself. Like, this is really cool. In the meantime, Yapzor is going to free farm Woods, even though he started bottom.
And he's got the level 2 Fire Spirits now, so I feel like that's the point where Phoenix can get really dominant in that 1v1 when you have that big increase in damage.
And mid lane, I can't believe mid one's doing this well. He almost has as many denies as CCNC does CS. This is not, and this is the CCNC versus Sumail factor, because I feel like Sumail might be watching this thinking I would be doing, flipping the script right there.
Mid one taking a lot of damage here, beating through the refraction though. And does have a healing salve to fall back on, so does CCNC. And Yapzor's just gonna be playing full-time jungle Enigma. It's been a long time since we've seen one of those. Puppy may be out of position here. Crit's gonna hold on to his Fisher block until throwing it down now. Now, they let Puppy get in front of him, but with the slow out from the Dro Ranger, they may still be able to get this, especially with the Splinter Blast. Now, Zai actually came in. Icarus dives through the 2 supports. He's gonna go for the kill onto the Winter Wyvern. Now, he still had stick charges, and with the Splinter Blast, Zai's gotta be careful. Slowed down once again by the Frost Arrows coming out from RTZ. Nisha, though, kind of poses enough of a threat that RTZ will not pursue for that kill. So now Yapzor will take over the lane at bottom.
Yep. This is really cool and a nice way to deal with the strong Mirana in the safe lane. You can't really pressure her too much, but they're getting as much out of the lane as possible and effectively securing 2 heroes a nice foothold into the early mid game. And that's a good trade. I know Puppy dies, but he gets to TP back to base. In the meantime, both EG supports have to TP back home. The death really doesn't matter that much when you consider how much time he bought free for his Arc Warden.
That is true, right? Every single bit of damage that you lay down, that's why they TP back home. They don't want to let the Bloodseeker get those thirst stacks. CCNC is going to have his Refraction burn through. They will be able to get the big Silence nuke on him with Refraction down. He does have a Fairy Fire and gets behind the tower, so they're not going to be able to go for it. Zai, meanwhile, who's hiding out in the side jungle area, was able to pop out at level 4 and kill the Dro Ranger.
And this is something cool Secret gets to do because Zai is such a versatile and just fantastic player. He's played 3, 4, 5 for pretty much his entire career. And they have 2 4s, it feels like.
Yeah.
With Yapzor and Zai, they're both confident playing 1v1 lanes. They're confident rotating. Like, so easy to play around. What's up?
Oh, look at that. He picked up a double damage, and he was like, I could fight an Ogre, and then he gets ignited. He's like, wait, I can't fight an Ogre. Even with double damage, the stats are still too favorable for this Ogre Magi now.
Look at EG's tri-lane. What are they doing?
I'm not sure. They were moving heroes around, I guess, to secure the bounty runes and such, but
This isn't what you want. I mean, we've talked about it. Free creep waves are devastating. You don't ever want to give an arc ward, especially when he's behind. Like, you want to keep pressure in this lane.
Right.
This is the downside of aggro tri-laning, though, is that, you know, the supports leave, and now Drow's on an island. He goes down. Puppy's death effectively pays for a far more valuable kill on RTZ's Drow, and then he loses 2-3 creep waves because you can't be up here by yourself.
Gus pushed back. He does have Fly, who's going to try and help protect him with the Splinter Blast as well as the Arctic Bird, slowing down these heroes. But now the Fissure Block comes in. Zai's trapped on the wrong side of it, but RTZ's still going to get burnt out. The Splinter Blast almost enough to finish off Zai. Big enchant totem hit, still not enough. Now as the Fissure fails, Zai does manage to get back a little bit, but not far enough. Meanwhile, mid lane, CCNC bursted down once again by the rotation coming out from Puppy. Mid-one taking advantage of those big thirst stacks.
Really well played by Secret. Just excellent rotations. You see a lot of amateur teams make mistakes because they over-rotate to try and find these kills. It's far better. Take those disadvantageous fights. Take a 2-on-3 up top and trade. That's fine because you're buying space now for Puppy to make a move on mid and down bottom. Yapzor and Marana pretty much completely tied. Not much either hero can do to get a foothold. They're just going to keep out just trading against one another, but I think this is way more valuable on an Enigma.
Yeah, certainly it's a bigger team fight impact for sure. So does S4, does he start rotating out or something to offset this? Oh, another rotation coming in from Zai. Misses out on the Icarus dive, as well as the first two Fire Spirits, another leap away. That'll be most of his leap charges, but no Fire Spirits
Zai's level
landed.
5.
Yeah.
With an urn at 6 minutes something into the game. And what's even crazier, mid, level 7 Bloodseeker versus a level 5 TA. I do not think that's supposed to happen. 26 denies on mid one versus 23 CS on CCNC. He is dominating this lane.
Mid one just took a look at that mid matchup, looked CCNC dead in the eyes and said, yeah, I can take this. And he's certainly proving it with his CS score. Yeah. I mean, that's what it's entirely about, right? If the Bloodseeker can continue to keep CS above the Templar Assassin, who's always healing himself up for full, the Sideblade and that constant harassment doesn't have much of an effect. And Arrow's gonna come in, but not quite good enough.
Zai TPing top.
Arteez is going to get wrapped around on. Puppy's going to be able to slow him down with the Ignite. They also have that Flux slowing him down. Fly can't really do anything to help him, so that's why he's immediately going to TP out. They have no stuns with the Fire Blast on cooldown.
I love the way Secret's playing this. Like I said, it's just so nice. They're effectively sacking bottom lane, but since Yapzor's there, like, they're getting full XP and gold out of it, and they're winning these other two side lanes really hard, honestly. Drow can't go back top, and again, this is the issue with aggro tri-laning. You have no real offlaner on EG. This is reminiscent of how they used to play with Sumail offlane. It's 3 cores. No one can play top anymore, and that's a problem when there's a free farming arc warden in the lane.
Yeah, asking Marana to move around and make kills happen is kind of awkward, right? You're just pretty much saying, hey, I hope you hit an arrow. Then we can kill something,
exactly.
But otherwise.
We talk about this all the time. If you lose lanes and none of your cores are capable of changing the status quo, what's the plan there? Like, I came into this game thinking EG's gonna win all their lanes. They lost them all.
And now Joe Ranger's gonna spend time jungling. Our Templar Assassin still needs to go through that phase where he hits a bunch of Ancients and gets Blink Dagger and Deso. And again, asking a Marana to make everything happen for you is, well, it's tough for S4. We'll see if he can change the status of this game. 2-4 right now in the favor of Secret. So the 10-minute bounty runes are gonna be coming up. Maybe we'll see some action breakdown from there.
Yeah, it looks like Nisha's going to be going for the Midas.
Another Ignite as well as a Rupture. Evil Genius is going to try and rotate some heroes over here, but the big silence comes out. Now the Fissure down. They're trying to lay damage into mid one, but the TP out from S4 just took too long, so instead he's going to try and go for the kill on a Puppy, but that big tanky Ogre just refuses to die, and now S4, he is in big trouble. Pops a Moonlight Shadow, but they had the damage to be able to bring him below that Thirst radius, and now Fly, trying to get away from the silence, will be good.
Such a cool play by Nisha there. Spawns his Tempest double, TPs at mid to ensure he can help out and secure that kill. Really nice. Like, that's the difference between a good and a bad Arc Warden player. You'd see some maybe just farming a hard camp. He's waiting, saving that CD to ensure that he's ready to respond. And he's still free farming one lane and killing in another. Like, one of the things that makes that hero not OP necessarily, but when you get it in a position like this, it might just be.
And since he doesn't have the Hand of Midas, he doesn't really have any incentive to use that Tempest double just for farming purposes anyway.
And I don't disagree with the decision either, considering he's just free farming. If you're the win condition for your team, if you can get away with it, for sure get that Midas, just because of how value it is. Every time you spawn an ult with Midas, it's a double Midas. It pays for itself in 5 minutes.
And as you said, he's the win condition. That's why this smoke is heading up to the top lane for Evil Geniuses. They're going to be able to get the Fissure into the Starstorm. A lot of damage. They couldn't get an arrow out, but it looks like Nisha may still be in trouble. He managed to get the Venn diagram of Bubbles, which is dodging a lot of damage. Now the Supernova goes down. The arrow's going to miss. Nisha dodges that one as well. Now they're stunned up. The Malphus. Nisha's going to be able to get away. The Supernova explodes. They both die. And Nisha, the hard carry, gets out. Oh, by the way, Mid-1 also killed CCNC during that.
And they're gonna pick up a bounty rune. He's probably gonna sell the branch and the tangos, and he'll run straight towards the jungle with the Midas. That's exactly what he does.
Not only is this a Dro Ranger lineup off to a bad start, losing pretty much all of their lanes, 2 out of 3 of them in the third one tying, but it's also against an Arc Warden, which is a designated counter against Dro Ranger lineups anyway, right?
Yeah, and I love what Yapzor is doing too. We've talked about how good Crimson Guard is against Drow lineups. He's just going Arcane's Crimson. Screw Blink.
Okay.
You don't want to go this Blink BKB build because you're against a Wyvern. Your ultimate's not how you're going to win this game. It's getting all these items to ensure your team stays alive.
Fissure into arrow. Zai gonna try and Icarus dive away. He gets some good distance out. Managed to get the Fire Spirits on the fly as well. Who's gonna take a lot of damage. He just goes for the Splinter Blast before dying, but Mid-1's already made its rotation over. Crit's hiding out in this side jungle. Fissure up in 2 seconds time. Zai is not gonna get into that jungle area. He's afraid of being bursted down as he sees the Bloodseeker. Arrow's gonna come out from S4. Once again, misses. But they're gonna give up on the kill on Crit, feeling like it's too hard to dive the tower. And after all, Secret's ahead. They don't need to throw.
They're not just ahead, they're 5K ahead.
Yeah.
Like, this is insane. They almost have the top 4 net worths in this game, and it just feels like every time I look at Nisha, he's in a lane all by himself, free farming.
Look at that, Zai getting more damage onto Crit. The Fire Spirits will be enough to take him out. Now Zai will die, so that swap out is not gonna really be worth it for Secret, but it is just more pressure around the map. As you can see, Nisha's already set up in the bottom lane, where no one is right now, and is just freely pushing into a tower.
I am really concerned with how EG thinks to do damage in the mid game. CCNC is almost out of this game, and pretty soon you're gonna have Crimson, Bubble, a Blade Mail on Bloodseeker to deal with. This is great by Nisha, overlapping the 2 bubbles, ensuring he doesn't take the damage. He jukes the arrow.
The best Arc Wardens I see always use that sort of Venn diagram of bubbles to make sure they're sitting in the center, and it's so hard to get in the middle of both of them to lay damage in. I mean, just look at the positioning of Puppey right now. I mean, he just got in really deep and placed a ward behind that tier 1 tower. You could see how much map control they're getting out of this. They have an aggressive ward on the shrine on the left-hand side as well.
And this is a Drow lineup that has 0, not even just 0 towers. They have like next to no tower damage dealt.
Yeah.
This is great by Yapzor, just bringing the entire EG squad into him. Even if he dies here, it's worth it. Jukes the Fissure, well played.
Not gonna be hit by that or the silence. Now the Arctic Burn is finally gonna slow him down. He takes the time to give Crit the tip.
Man, that's demoralizing. You invest a smoke, 4 heroes time, get absolutely nothing out of it. And looking at CCNC, he's just farming his own Ancients. That was just a triple stack, and he's not even farmed enough to do that easily. Yeah. Looks like he's gonna be going for a drums. He's so far behind.
Jesus. That is a bad sign for Evil Geniuses. Another bad sign, the Blade Mail picked up for the Bloodseeker. Super effective in this game against many of the heroes of EG, as we're going to see Fly get caught out. Again, those aggressive wards giving them the tip that they can go for this kind of pickoff. Zai is going to dive on through, get that magic damage on the Fly. The Cold Embrace just will never be effective against this Bloodseeker. Now, Zai does take a lot of damage on his way out, but he always has that Supernova to fall back on. And he's just going to pop it here. He's a little bit afraid that he's going to get caught. Now CCNC is going to try and run it down with the help of Crit. They will be able to kill the Supernova and get away from the silence.
Just well played by him, just a little slow on popping the egg. He accidentally earned himself during the TA trap. Felt like he had to regen immediately before he went down, but that egg just a second or two too late.
Puppey challenging RTC, and he can. He's got the armor and the HP to back it up. Moonlight Shadow's going to go down, feeling like RTC needs the extra help. Well, let's not forget, we've got Bloodlust for the Arc Warden as well, so as he goes this Maelstrom damage build.
Yeah, and Puppey was secure enough in this game that he maxed Bloodlust too, which makes him far less impactful on the game, but and if you look at the EG supports, Crit's Blink Dagger is still quite a ways away. In fact, he's the full cost away, so think about his impact on a game in comparison to Puppey, who even if he just ran in circles, Bloodlusting has 2 cores. I mean, that's value.
Yeah.
Top lane, like there's so much control over the map secrets. They control 3 bounty runes. No one's pressured. 7K lead now. the double Midas comes out. Like this slow pace for the game 100% benefits Secret.
Yeah, Evil Geniuses had to be the one to win lane, start taking towers, start limiting the farming opportunities for that Arc Warden. And if he takes most of the farm on the map, then you end up with an underfarmed Enigma and Bloodseeker. Instead, everyone's farming on Secret, and they're still finding kills, such as on Arteezy here, who will manage to get the TP out thanks to the silence, preventing the Malphus. Another TP out here in the bottom lane as well. You could see Evil Geniuses, they're just getting by the skin of their teeth. They're barely getting out of all these deaths and having to TP home time and time again.
And the thing that's going to maybe change the game for them is this TA Blink Dagger. He's going to pick it up in 200-300 gold, but this all goes back to the point when you have 3 cores that can't rotate and you lose the lanes. Effectively, you have no comeback mechanic other than try and rice your own woods until eventually someone picks up an item that can change the way you're able to play. But right now, they're playing scared.
Now, isn't that most of the time the nature of Drill Ranger lineups in the first place, that they do so heavily focused on the laning phase? Do you think there's something EG could have done better in their draft to fix this big weakness?
Not sure. I just don't like the TA in some ways. They expected it to crush its lane. And again, I point to, if you have Sumail here, I think this may be a different game, but CCNC is not the typical player that looks to just dominate a game by himself. He's more of the tempo, like distraction player, right? I think a DK, as an example, could have been a lot more effective here. Just give him a point stun and let Arteezy and S4 deal the damage later on.
Especially with the way that he kind of learned to play on Optic, right? Maybe before that time, he was a flashier player, but on Optic, he was continually being sort of this, as you say, Dragon Knight is a perfect example of just this initiator and space creator in that regard. S4 gonna be chased down here. Moonlight Shadow going out. They do have a dust to be able to spot him, so he's gonna have to pull some pretty tricky moves. He's gonna double leap and TP out, and he will be able to make it away.
Well played. It's a critical survive for S4. Highest net worth on his team. A lot of pressure on him to perform. Finishes the Maelstrom up top. Fly might be in some trouble.
Ruptured. And Fly. What do you do here? You can't cold embrace yourself, but at the same time, you know you're going to die into the Rupture in silence.
Yep. That bottom Zai picks up level 10. I just realized as well. So you have the double Midas on Arc Warden, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have Phoenix level 10, 90 GPM. Puppey hits level 10, he gets 90 GPM. And if Yapzor chooses to do so, he can pick up the 150 GPM at level 15. So the later this game goes, like the better for Secret.
And I think pretty much all Enigmas do that unless they get like the Hand of Midas build.
Yeah.
S4 tried to throw out an arrow. Again, gonna miss as Zai managed to dodge it, and Puppey gives him the heads up with his positioning. Puppey looks really good as an ogre a lot of times simply because he knows where the enemy's gonna try and rotate through and always positions himself to intercept that.
Yeah, and I love what Secret's doing as well. They get this at first item to ensure that they're willing to fight, like the Bloodseeker Blade Mail, but he's gonna go all the way back for a Radiance. So they're ramping up to the point where they know EG has a difficult time making moves, so they're just investing in their macro and ensuring that in 5-10 minutes, they'll still be able to win those fights. Big kill.
Echo Slam into the arrow. Zai will end up falling here. Now they managed to hit a trap onto Puppey. There's a second one already laid up. Now, the Ogre is pretty tanky, so again, not sure if you can really initiate on him, especially so close to a tower, as the Drill Ranger lineup has failed to take more than one Tier 1 tower by the 20-minute marker. CCNC gonna be ruptured, does manage a refraction, and walks out of the silence as well, so he'll be good. Mid one, it's actually pretty low for now, but Templar Assassin being your only playmaker, mid one's not really threatened. Midnight Bull's gonna reveal Fly, he's gonna be stunned up, the silence is there as well. Fly trying to get a cold embrace on himself, but he would have died anyway.
Meantime, Nisha just continuing to farm, finished up his Boots of Travel, so...
Look at Puppey, he's down to just keep on running to this TA. He knows his team's got his back.
Yeah, it's not even about finding kills here on these cores, they just want to ensure they control this area of the map. Don't allow TA to just farm mid lane and double stack Ancients at all times, just control the map.
You're gonna need EG to do some like desperation split pushes now. Both the side lanes being shoved in by the Drill Ranger and S4's Mirana. But they will not try and stop this mid-tier 2 from falling. So Secret take this tower, they can back up and defend if they want, or they can gank Arteezy, who is gonna be caught trying to go for the 20-minute bounty runes.
Mirana in some trouble. S4's gonna
Grab the illusion. This is huge. He might get a
if
kill
he
on
can
Nisha.
actually get this kill, he needs to be able to get inside the bubble, land this arrow as well. Nisha's gonna try and juke his way around the trees. S4 doesn't even bother. He gives him the walk-away kill. That is over 1,000 gold given to S4 off of a critical pickoff. Now gonna find another one with a Visher coming in and CCNC joining them. They get a kill for their mid laner as well.
That was great play by S4 specifically. Like, that was crucial for EG to get back into this. That gives them a little bit of a foothold. Now maybe they can think about playing around Roche real soon. It's just always difficult to team fight into an Enigma. They need to keep this split pressure up and stall out the game until they get the critical item, specifically a BKB on TA. They do have the Shadow Blade on RTZ though, and Yap is in some trouble.
The illusions revealing mid one. Not sure if they know that YapzOr is sitting here in the trees, but with the Arc Warden down, this Drone Ranger lineup certainly wants to take a tower, seeing as that bubble is so hard to fight into, but they couldn't do it.
This is still maybe even EG's window right now because they still don't have the Radiance finished on Bloodseeker. There's no blink on Enigma, and the Arc Warden has gone all in on this very greedy build.
Right, if he gets initiated on by an Earthshaker, there goes, 10, 15K of your net worth almost instant. And you will have some split push opportunities with the Sonic Trap damage. Ooh, that is a Winter's Curse that, well, Fly, it's not the best target, seeing as Ogre doesn't really do a whole lot of damage, but it threatens Nisha a little bit.
It's worth a try. In the meantime, Arteezy's just shoving out top wave, and it's better to use your spells to buy time, even if you don't find any kills, versus just have them sit ready to be used for minutes. And they're really, EG is not looking to team fight. They can play aggressive, they can find skirmishes and pickoffs, but it's so difficult to walk blindly into any uphills as 5 because one play from YapzOr might just end the game.
Do you think this is a time where Secret, you said the Radiance is really important. Do you think this is a time where they try and pressure towers again, or do you wait for the next round of items?
You're content just farming. It's just important that you aren't on the back foot like locked in jungle. This is exactly what you want to do.
Good rupture on S4. He's going to leap to the other side of the cliff, so mid one can't really get to him. Leaps into the base as well. Now he's stuck and has to leap one more time to get away from that silence. Nisha still looking for that kill, actually threw out the spark rate, but at bottom lane it's going to be Crit's Earthshaker who's caught, who was getting his way towards a Blink Dagger, cannot die anytime soon. Arteezy has to TP out here.
Man, I really wish Zai was building a Yules instead of an Atos. He'd have it complete right now. That's what, the 3rd or 4th kill they've lost out on just because there's no teleport cancel. Bloodseeker, Arc Warden, and Phoenix all suffer from this.
Yeah, somebody's got to build Yules, right? If it's not your Bloodseeker, it's got to be the Phoenix. I would say it's more like 5 or 6 kills they've missed out on. Literally, all the plays we were talking about, EG was making, it was like, good silence into a teleport. Like, congratulations, you survived.
Yep, I would argue even mid one should have picked one up. Since he's going for the Radiance anyway, yeah, it would slow him down just a little bit, but again, if it gets you a kill or two, it pays for that.
Yeah, like your job is more about shutting down the enemy carries than it is your own one, right?
Yeah. This could be the big fight. Level 2 egg on Phoenix is prepared. You have the blink on YapzOr along with the Crimson Guard.
If they get the right Winter's Curse from Fly, they need to be able to get vision. Oh, look at that, the preemptive Supernova. But it may explode before Roshan actually dies here. It's gonna be a little close. They just don't have the damage. It's still another 1,000 HP. Now the arrow comes in. Oh, there's gonna be a black hole on the right-hand side. It looks like they should be able to blow up the Drone Ranger first and pick up that Aegis. Now S4 caught by the rupture. They are gonna turn. Echo Slam out. Blade Mail does a lot of damage back to both S4 as well as Crit. It kills S4. Crit's gotta make his way out. Fly tried to come in for the Winter's Curse, but they all split before he could get a good one.
Yep. And CCNC just couldn't find a window into that fight. He was poking around, but as soon as Arteezy got killed, he was shoved away from that high ground, and then at that point, the fight's over.
What was Arteezy doing there? Like,
I have no idea.
Deep side.
He was trying to pincer, you know, he doesn't want to walk down the obvious downhill. He's trying to abuse his invisibility to just find some sort of silence onto the Enigma, maybe even pick him off, but this is the downside of the EG lineup. Like, you don't have the team fight to stand against Secret. They used Egg and Bloodseeker silence. It made no difference whatsoever.
Look at them. They're going high ground so early. Just about to hit 25 minutes. Now the Winter's Curse into the arrow could be an opportunity. In fact, it's going to be into the silence. Now the follow-up Fisher. S4 still not ready to go. Is going to TP into this fight. Silence wears out. Nisha. Oh, look at Arteezy. Look how low he got from all that Spirit Vessel and damage over time from the Phoenix.
I like that play from Secret though. Again, you just pressure. Apply the pressure. They now know all of 5 EG players are in base, and what just spawned? Bounty runes. They get all 4.
Very smart. So they back up. They have all the bounty runes, as well as a lot of farm that they can get split up, take the efficient route. It's going to be up to EG to maybe make a play here. We're going to look back at that Roshan fight. You could see they managed to get a dust onto RTZ. He was looking for that Enigma, right? He wanted to silence the Enigma and make sure that team fighter wasn't an impact.
Yep. And this is just, and you can see like CCNC was trying to follow RTZ, but then he's forced to walk away. And what does he do now? You can't blink into this engagement. All the spells are already used, and it's just so difficult for him to find a foothold in this game. TA is a snowballer.
Back into the game we go. Evil Geniuses have smoked up. They're sitting on the high ground here. Puppy, he's going to be the smoke breaker here. Now, Zai is also nearby, so he might be able to lend a helping hand here with Rod of Atos, dealing some damage onto S4. Mid-one's already TP'ing in as well, while CCNC with the BKB activated is going to go straight for YapzOr. Will be able to get that kill. Rupture going down. TP out. S4, if he gets away, this is looking like a great fight for Evil Geniuses. 2 pickoffs so far. And no deaths.
And that's exactly what you got to do if you're EG. You can't team fight, but you can find pickoffs. You can utilize the double invisibility, the TA traps. You need to just hit and run and just get out of dodge, because you still have a chance in this game for sure. Is, you know, you're going to do less damage and you'll be afraid of the Arc Warden as the game continues, but when TA gets like that 3rd, 4th item, same with the Drow, you can threaten the Enigma and the Phoenix, and all of a sudden they need to be far more wary of their positioning, because if you're going to win fights, you got to take out one of those 2 heroes at the start.
You saw CCNC's net worth is below average for this game, but it is creeping up, and if Evil Geniuses can continue to play that hit and run style that Kyle is talking about, maybe they can recover a significant amount. Trying to go straight for the MKB, BKB, MKB, I mean, that's one way to try and deal with an Arc Warden and a Radiance.
I really like that decision. This is what I mean about CCNC. Like, he has certain faults as a player, but he makes the right decisions. That's why he's such a valuable member of pretty much any team he's on. Yeah, it feels bad not to have a Deso down bottom.
Nice Shadow Blade pick off here. The Rod of Atos just trying to get out of range of the Drill Ranger, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah. But yeah, he needed a BKB to be able to just contest anything in this game, and MKB is such a valuable item when you're playing up against an Arc Warden. You can ignore the bubble now for the rest of the game.
He's going to run into all these heroes. They already have the trap on mid-1, BKB activated. They're trying to go for YapzOr. The Fisher block isn't quite there, and CCNC will give up on the kills. As a result, you can see a large amount of his damage being stripped away by that Crimson Guard.
Now YapzOr making another good decision, just going for the mech and then the Greaves. Another reason, this is why I love this hero, Cap. You can build it in so many different ways. He provides just massive amounts of utility for a team, in addition to essentially just being the lord of the team fight, both offensively and defensively. He can still land a black hole and just change this game.
That'll be a massive increase in their armor for sure. What about a Lotus Sword though? Because they keep on getting caught by this Shadow Blade silences from the Drill Ranger.
Wouldn't be bad, but I agree. I mean, that's the Greaves, right? Might not be able to help out his teammates, but at least YapzOr won't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
That's the real target.
Like Zai could get it or something, and then they would just have a ton of armor items.
I think Zai could have got a lot of items that weren't Rod of Atos.
Yeah. That one has not felt very effective. A lot of solo kill power, but he hasn't been able to actually translate that into kills.
Yeah. It's just an underwhelming item. It's too expensive. It feels good, you want to buy it because everyone loves to have a couple of bracers in their inventory early game, but it's just too costly for the
Secret. They thought they were making a move to top lane to catch EG, but as they're not finding heroes, they're letting Mid-1 and Zai know, guys, there's nobody here, but they found him. They found Mid-1 sitting in the jungle. They tried their best to play the game of hide and seek, just playing the side jungles as best as possible. They're gonna kill the Tempest double as well here.
Yeah, it's getting a little scary for Secret. Yeah, they're massively
whoa! He kills RTZ. What should have been a simple 1-for-0 trade-off.
So that's a perfect example of what makes this game tough for both sides, where the massive net worth lead is almost all on the Arc Warden, right? But he's itemizing strictly for raw DPS. EG have to be careful to don't let him turn into a turret.
Yeah.
But Secret, on the other hand, if Arc Warden ever has to turn and flee, like, that net worth becomes worthless.
Absolutely. Rod of Atos catch here on CCNC. He will manage to blink away as the Rod fails out. They're going to try and jump onto the Phoenix here, but protected by that magnetic field. Crit tries to get in there, manages to get the Echo Slam, but the Black Hole, it's protecting the Phoenix for now, managed to get off the Supernova, and there goes the team fight. It's over. EG, they have to full retreat now. Fly's going to turn around, gets off the Winter's Curse, but that's 3 dead after the Drill Ranger pick off. Secret played that beautifully, protecting Zai.
It's the buddy system, but everybody's got like 3 buddies. It's so difficult to take out a kill. Even though Zai catches the arrow, he's double bubbled, and then there's a Greaves. He has the Greaves aura as well, which we don't see the effects of, but the black hole on top, I mean, you can't kill him. He gets the egg off, and now they just go high ground. And that's right, those bubbles are offensive power as well. Yep. They're all getting 80 attack speed just by standing inside.
Top lane, they're pushing high ground, so Arteezy goes, I'm fine to push top. No. The support and I guess the semi-support in Zai with this Phoenix, they have the kill power. They can go and hunt down heroes that are trying to split push.
Man, I just realized just how well Secret's draft complements each other. They have the bubble for attack speed, the ogre, and they can Bloodseeker buff the Arc Ward. So of course he's going for this turret build because, I mean, he's just gonna do so much damage.
Meanwhile, they also have Ogre playing the front lines. They have the bubble as well as the black hole, all protecting the supernova. Super hard to take team fights into them.
I like this decision. Mid one already recognizes, look, I do plenty of damage. I'm gonna just go for a sheep stick. And that is by far the most value item on an Arc Warden because you have 2 of them in every team fight.
Winter's Curse, arrow. Popping the BKB here, trying to blow up Nisha as quick as possible. They are going to be able to do so, but Splinter Blast doing a lot of damage to Yapzor as well. S4 goes in the high ground, Cold Embrace as well. Mid one commits for a kill that he can't actually get. Yapzor's going to help him though with Arteezy. Mid one will be able to take that one as well as S4 just flying around the map with that thirst.
What an insane hero, man. Mid one is just unstoppable this game. He took a disadvantageous lineup, matchup, dumpstered it, and has just run away with the game.
And he knew because they used the Winter's Curse, there was nothing to stop him once he's got the BKB and the thirst charges. Sure, they Cold Embrace S4, he just looks for someone else to hit on.
And it looks like Zai's gonna be going for a halberd, mid one's gonna be going for a halberd. Like, they understand, like our draft does so much damage, all we need to do is ensure that our team can stay alive. And you can see, even though they took out mid one, they have to commit so many abilities in so much time. There's still mid one that's an issue, and I don't know how EG is ever gonna be able to take out the 2 of them while still, again, being concerned about the massive team fight that Zai and Yapzor offer. And you can see here, like, he's completely alone. The Wyvern ult, the Fissure, the Arrow, like, they need to commit all of these abilities. They need to double BKB, and he still almost lives. And I'm pretty sure if Yapzor has Greaves up there, he will live just by getting that little heal off. And they were staying on top of each other in a Meteor. What if they get Black Holes? The one cancel is that Wyvern ult.
Look how fast Arteezy died to that Bloodseeker with the thirst charges. He's got to be careful. His bottom lane there is a double damage Bloodseeker there as well. He's about to get his level 20 talent. For some extra rupture damage, I presume, against the Mirana would be nice. Oh, nice Shivas.
I love that. I was thinking Hex, but I actually don't mind this. Again, it's all, the name of the game is survive. They don't need to get fancy. They don't even need to use stuns, realistically. They can just stand still, and if EG try and fight them, they're gonna take no damage and deal a whole bunch.
Yeah, if Zai's not gonna go the Shivas on the Phoenix, right? He's gonna go Halberd instead. Somebody should have a Shivas wand. Moonlight Shadow. Gonna go down here. Evil Genius is looking to get into the pit here, but it's so hard with the Spark Wraith being an early detection system, telling you exactly where everybody's gonna be going. They've caught S4 with the Rod of Atos. Yapzor's gonna pop out, forcing him to leap. Now, Puppey, he's fine if the enemy team wants to go on him. After all, he's got that Ghost Scepter. Dodges the arrow, pretty nifty, and 4 staffs up into the high ground. So they do manage to stop Roshan from being taken, but Evil Geniuses don't fight. They don't get an opportunity to get inside the pit themselves either.
This is so tough. Like, EG just, if they're banking on Secret making a mistake, and this is a Puppey captain team, I just don't know if that's gonna happen. They're gonna do this as slowly as necessary.
I thought they were gonna wrap all the way around, but instead, they're gonna try and cut through this very narrow area around the Roshan pit that is tough to be able to get into. S4 just dives in the pit. He has no information, so he tries to go in right as Roshan's about to go down, but it's not even close. So Secret are just going to be able to come in for the team fight. Now the Supernova is traded out for S4's life, but Fly is also going to be caught here. Buy back instantly. Cold Embrace as he comes back out of the silence. Mid one will quickly take his life. There goes the Black Hole as they try to get into the pit. A beautiful one by Yapzor. CCNT is already so low. Now he tries to run away, but the thirst charges just build up for the Bloodseeker. He's going to help run everybody down. back to Roshan they go. That is almost a team wipe, and now an Aegis and Cheese.
It was S4 ball back. It's the only reason.
Oh, it was a team fight. Yeah, it was.
That's brutal. And how do you deal with all of Secret's heroes? They have, it feels like 4 cores, and then they're bloodlust buffed. You can't even kill Puppy. He's got Medallion and a Ghost Scepter and a Vlad's. Like it's just flawless itemization from Secret. I love the way they've played this game. I know I've spent a lot of time singing their praises, but they've done all the little things right. And when you put that together, domination.
It has been a beautifully well-crafted game by Secret here in this game 1 of this series, leading to a 30,000 gold lead here at 35 minutes. Fly's gonna sneak up the side here with the Moonlight Shadow, hoping, praying that they're gonna clump up for a good Winter's Curse. And managed to blink out and hits the Arc Warden next to the Bloodseeker. It's gonna do a lot of damage with the arrow coming in as well. BKB activated. They're fully committing towards this Arc Warden kill. A 4-staff away. Almost the Cheese activated just in time. Misha stays alive and S4's life is forfeit. So is RTZ. Caught by the Rod of Atos. Mid-1, Sonic the Hedgehog. Here we go. Just running down heroes. Evil Geniuses will call it quits for this first game.
Not much to say. Well played by Secret. EG drafting a lineup that kind of says, hey, we think we're better than you. And if they were able to turn their lanes into a big advantage, then maybe they would have been able to prove that. But Secret, like mid-1 with a phenomenal performance, proving why he's one of the best mid players in the world. They itemize flawlessly. They control the map incredibly well. I didn't see a mistake made by the squad, and this was the Secret I was hoping to see. A disappointing result this past TI. Well, 5th, 6th isn't what everyone would call disappointing, but they want to do better. They want to win lands, and it looks right now like this is a roster that just might do that.
Very strong start for Team Secret. In our previous series, we had Pain taking that 2-0, and Misery in his closing words said, Dro Ranger, please, throw it at me. It seems like Secret have the same opportunity here with Evil Geniuses, giving them the Dro Ranger strat and beating it handedly. Let's see where Evil Geniuses goes next as we head to the panel for Game 2.
Thank you very much, gents. Yes, a win for Team Secret. They do go 1-up. It is an advantage to the boys from Secret, and as Kyle said in his own words, they're not scared of anything right now, are they? Let's find out from our panel what they made of game number 1. We're back with Trent, Blitz, and Fault. Trent, we'll start with you. It's good performance by Secret. Delivered exactly what they said they would from the draft, didn't they?
Yeah, looked pretty good right from the get-go, right? You have this Bloodseeker starting to do well in the mid lane, starting to kind of take control of that. And in the side lanes, there wasn't too much pressure happening onto your Arc Warden or your Enigma. They're just kind of chilling, doing their thing. Ogre was doing Ogre things. Looked good to have my boy back, you know, representing here. So happy to have him destroying. And I mean, it almost went, you know, it got a little scary. I feel like EG had some moments, but overall, Secret just kind of clutched it out.
That's what I was going to ask you about, Blitz. It wasn't plain sailing in there, was it? It wasn't, you know, perfect in every way.
No, but I mean, I think they read the 2 games that they watched previously. This is the advantage, of course, of having been further in the tournament. They saw the games against Complexity. They read it perfectly. They said, they're going to go aggro, which they did again. And this time around, they were much more prepared for it. EG looked a little bit shell-shocked from the laning phase on, especially with how that mid matchup went. The aggro tri-lane works if you're able to secure at least 2 of the other lanes, which is what the Dro is there for. But the Bloodseeker has such a nice matchup against the TA because the TA has no way to consistently keep you at low HP.
Yeah, and then the Enigma, of course, I mean, Yapsor, they kind of did this was kind of a switcheroo, right? Yeah. Yaps was playing the Enigma kind of in this core role, and Zai's playing like a support kind of Phoenix, but he's also taking some farm in a way. It was really nice to see also because there was a lot of individual plays coming up from them, even though they had a lot of team fight, like focused lineup. It was just like individual beauty.
Did this remind you of what Zai was doing with 33 at Optic? Because they were role switching as well, where they were doing the 3-4 thing, and maybe
definitely when it started,
yeah. I mean, it definitely felt similar, didn't it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, Yapsor, I think his Enigma in particular is he used to play this all the time, especially the jungle Enigma. So in this type of situation, absolutely appropriate.
And that's fine, isn't it? I mean, if they've got the flexibility within the team, switch things around.
As long as it wins you games, you can do whatever you want. But I feel like some teams tried that whole like switching roles and stuff, and then in the end, I feel like most teams moved away from it.
Yeah, EG tried a lot of it last year, didn't they?
Liquid too. I remember like trying out some of the different like for Kuro and stuff like that too. But eventually,
miracle support.
Yeah.
That was a thing earlier on in this year. Glad it's not anymore. No offense. He's just a great mid-player. Talking of great people, we've got Purge waiting for us at the Weatherman station, so let's head over there right now, find out what he's got for us.
Well, that game was pretty cool because what Secret did was they put the back foot on EG almost immediately. They opened with Enigma. Their opponents responded with the Earthshaker and the Wyvern, almost for sure focusing and showing their opponents that that's their dual lane support. So to cover that, EG ended up banning 2 really strong laning cores, the Axe and the Broodmother. But what it left open was the big boy Ogre, and that just meant that their dual lane was going to go a lot better. When the laning setup ended up in the top lane, you basically have 2 supports that don't deal very much damage, with a carry that doesn't do very much damage, and as a result, the laning stage didn't go so great. So when Drow basically was zoned out of lane as a result of the Ogre pressure, and also Zai coming to the lane after taking solo off lane and then TPing top and sort of becoming a support, it leads to Arteezy being forced to jungle, which is pretty much what happened in the the 7 to 10 minute point of the game, which is really bad for them. And as a result, mid's going bad, and then when the gank ends up coming here, CCNC died a couple times. Very hard when Ogre can just rotate off his lane as level 2, break your refraction charges and get a kill on you. They did a weak rotation here with S4, which ultimately produced another death on S4 after he ended up getting killed with the counter-counter rotation. And basically everything just went bad for EG at that point. They got their level 6s really late. Drow Ranger took a while to even get online, and Midwin just did whatever he wanted this game.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Fantastic. I feel like it's like a speeded up version of Lord of the Rings that Kevin's just reading to us. It's just absolutely brilliant, gents.
Yeah, and I thought he pointed out some really cool things, like he was talking about like rotations coming in, like those quick little movements that Secret did were super nice. Like Zai getting those high levels, then becoming a support, Puppy reading the map perfectly and doing like, I'm just gonna walk mid and make this Blood Secret have the best time ever.
Trent?
I mean, there's a reason he's got his own station. So we don't put him on the panel, because then we just argue with him, prove why he's wrong all the time, so just kind of keep him over there. And
What are you trying to say?
That's Purge guy, I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not big on it.
Why?
I feel like he's not a meteorologist. It's not proper, These things like these rotations and everything he's calling out, like, I don't know. I'm not comfortable with this Purge guy. Sorry.
Really?
Sorry,
Wow.
Purge. Yeah.
I mean,
sorry.
I feel like that's kind of bad. Look, come on, we're all gamers, right? So let's settle this in the only way we know how.
Right you are, Red Eye. We're going to settle this in game. There's Purge of Pain versus Canuck Daddy. Now, these two guys have been arguing all day. We're settling this in the virtual realm. There we go. What a hit by the Purge of Pain. But Canuck Daddy says no. He rushing in with his normal confidence. Nothing could put Trent down. But Purge is so fluid. His arguments so strong. Oh, my God. A straight cut on the Purge. Oh, look at Canuck Daddy really slicing that argument, throwing him out of the ring. My goodness gracious, it looks like today, Daddy just took out the trash. Purge of Pain. Your argument is over as the shirtless now Canuck Daddy brings it home. Woo!
That was very accurate, I just want to say. that final's still there. Truth, right there.
From the minds of Sir Actionslack, and I say minds because trust me, he has more than one. Both amazing and terrifying at the same time.
That was really hard to try and set up hating Purge. I had a really hard time with that. And those lines were just, my boy over there. I can't find anything wrong with him. He was just correct all the time. Yeah. And then I have to, at least, I rung him out though. So You're welcome, Purge.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Blitz, are you ready for yours?
Yeah, I mean, I saw Slacks make most of them. And let me tell you, he spent about 6 hours on each person.
Wow.
Did he really? He was there from noon to about 1 a.m. creating all of them.
That's incredible. All right, okay. Well, there you go. If you've ever seen some of his other stuff, his wrestling stuff, then you'll know exactly where that's coming from. Brilliant stuff. Okay, time for a break here for more reasons than one for us on the panel, but also for the players. They'll be back very shortly inside the Barclaycard Arena. Can Secret wrap this up 2-0, or have EG got a draw in them? We're going to find out very shortly.